Feastables went from a brand new chocolate bar brand to over $100 million in sales in over 2 years. But it wasn't just Mr. Beast's fame and promotion of having over 400 million subscribers that drove it to success. Behind the scenes, their email marketing strategy was working overtime and it paid off. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Feastables' exact email marketing strategy that helped them sell millions of bars, retain customers, and dominate the inbox. In the past few weeks, I've been researching Feastables' email marketing strategy, and I found 4 key steps that makes their email strategy so successful. And by the end of this video, you'll know each one of these steps so you can copy and implement it in your own brand. All right, step 1 is Feastables is built on a modern tech stack. This is the concrete strategy of any email marketing foundation. Without the right tools or the right tech stack, everything falls apart. Feastables runs on 2 key tech platforms. They use Shopify to manage their e-commerce store, and they use Klaviyo as a CRM to manage their email marketing. Shopify is proven to have one of the highest checkout conversion rates of all of the e-commerce players in the market today. And Klaviyo lets you deploy campaigns and automations much faster than a lot of legacy CRMs. What brands get wrong in this space, especially the legacy brands, is they stay on outdated legacy tech stacks for too long. They stick to these outdated tools and they have a hard time getting buy-in from their IT departments to migrate and switch. An example of this in this exact category is Hershey's. And in order to try and catch up with Feastables, you're now seeing Hershey's finally migrating over to Klaviyo and Shopify to try and better compete with Feastables. And that's great that they're catching up, but that delay cost them a lot of speed and time and really allowed a brand like Feastables to scale into over $100 million. So the takeaway for you is if you're on a clunky old school system, now is the time to migrate, or you're gonna be left behind and lapped by a challenger brand in your category like Feastables, who's on a much more modern tech stack and can move much faster within the marketing workflow. All right, step number 2 is they drive a ton of direct and organic traffic. Here's something a lot of first-time store owners have a hard time understanding about email marketing. Is email marketing doesn't work without traffic. Not only does email not work without traffic, but not all traffic is equal. In fact, traffic like organic and direct traffic is much more valuable than just paid traffic. And I estimate that Feastables drives over 500,000 visitors a month. And guess what? 80% of that traffic is organic and direct traffic. They're not paying for any of that traffic. Why is that important? Well, not only is direct and organic traffic cheaper, which makes it more profitable, but also direct and organic traffic tends to have much higher buyer's intent because they're actively searching for the brand. They're not searching for chocolate bars. They're searching specifically for Feastables chocolate bars. They're not just clicking an ad. They're actually logging into their internet browser, going into the search bar or going to google.com and typing in Feastables. And what this does, and I'll talk about it in a second, is typically that traffic again has much more buyer's intent. And you'll see that those, when they become email subscribers, they tend to have a much higher conversion rate when they get into the campaigns and automations of a lifecycle program. What most brands get wrong here is they try to spend too much time or they put too much energy into paid acquisition, which should definitely be a part of your marketing stack. I'm not here against paid ads, but it shouldn't be the only channel that you drive traffic from. Why is that? Because it leaves your brand vulnerable. If the only way you can create new customers is through paid ads, what happens if those paid ads go up? What happens if a new competitor comes into the marketplace who's better at creating these ads than you are? It really leaves your business in a vulnerable spot. So here's the best takeaway from you. What I want you to do is go audit your brand. Go pull up Google Analytics or any analytical tool you have and go look at any non-paid direct or organic traffic that you see that is already driving traffic to your store. Whether that's SEO, PR, whatever it is, social media, I want you to audit it, and then I want you to ideate on how you can double down or triple down on that to drive more traffic to your brand, diversify away from just paid ads. All right, step number 3. Feastables is really good at capturing traffic through forms, and they have foundational flows set up to convert them into customers. So in this step, this is where you turn traffic into subscribers and subscribers into buyers. And Feastables does this better than just about anybody else. Here's a few things I noticed when studying this brand. They have pop-ups or forms or some sort of capture form enabled on all of their top pages. So there's no sort of leaky funnel here. Not only that, all of the forms work on various devices. They work on mobile, they work on desktop, they work on tablet. So it's really important that they work across devices. Also, once you opt in to those forms, there are key flows working behind the scenes to help drive you to become a customer. Some of these flows could be like a pre-purchase welcome flow, an abandoned checkout flow, an added to cart flow, a browse abandonment flow. All of these flows, if you have them enabled for your store, can drive serious revenue for your brand. And the best part about these foundational flows in these forms is once you set them up, they run in the background 24/7. You don't really have to do anything, and they're just sort of capturing traffic, capturing email subscribers, and turning those subscribers into customers like clockwork every day, every month, every year. What most brands get wrong here is they don't do a very good job setting up their forms and pop-ups. For example, they won't have pop-ups deployed on their most popular pages. Or it'll work well on desktop, but it doesn't really work well on mobile when 80% of their store's traffic is coming from mobile. Where they also get it wrong is sometimes once they capture the traffic, they forget to set up a flow or automation, or there's something broken in the logic with that flow or automation. So those new subscribers aren't getting nurtured or aren't getting emails to convert them into customers. So here's the takeaway for you. I want you to check your analytics. First off, I want you to go look at your top landing pages. Do you have some sort of form, or do you have some sort of capture point for new traffic that lands on that page into email subscribers? I also want you to look at the conversion rate of those forms. Is it over 2% or is it under 2%? Normally, if it's under 2%, that means you have a problem with the actual form itself. Lastly, I want you to check all of your forms that there's some sort of email automation or text automation that follows up right after someone is opted into those forms. All right, in the last step number 4 is Feastables has a regular campaign cadence with repeatable angles. So email campaigns are a great way to stay top of mind, but a lot of brands get stuck here. They have a hard time ideating what to send out every week, every month, every year. And the nice thing about campaigns is you can set up a campaign calendar, and as long as you come up with 5 to 10 email angles, or sometimes called email hooks, you can just deploy those every single week, month after month. In Feastables, they don't even send a lot of campaigns. Like some brands, I send up to 30 email campaigns a month. Feastables is probably averaging about 8 a month. Sometimes they send as little as 2 a month. Not only are they sending the same type of campaigns, they're getting creative with their campaign angles. They use the same type of hooks that work in Mr. Beast's YouTube videos, like these crazy contest-like videos. They use those same type of hooks in their email campaigns, and it's working very, very well. They're probably one of the best brands I've seen at gamifying email marketing. What most brands get wrong here is they either don't send campaigns, they either don't have a workflow set up and they're leaving money on the table, or they kind of figure out how to set up an email campaign calendar and some sort of workflow here, but they're just blasting the list with what I call promotional emails. These are emails where it's like 10% off, 15% off, buy one, get one free. Brands see that these revenues drive revenue, that's great. And so they're like, hey, let's just send more and more of these things, but eventually it sort of burns out the list. You need to switch up the hooks and switch up the angles. So the takeaway here for you is to find repeatable angles other than just promotional emails and discounting. For Feastables, it's charity, it's discount angles, it's social proof, it's FAQ, new product launches, angles like that. For your brand, it may be different, but find 5 to 10 angles that you can routinely deploy in your campaign calendar month after month. All right, so those are the 4 steps I saw that you can take to replicate Feastables' successful email marketing strategy. This email marketing strategy is a huge reason why they've been able to scale to over $100 million in revenue in less than 2 years. If you want help applying this same exact strategy for your own e-commerce brand, feel free to connect with me and my team at FlowCandy anytime. Just click on the link in the description. You'll be able to book a call and talk with us. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.